and Bowie Jane.
Hello, it's Bowie Jane and Jess Bowen for Babes Behind the Beats. We're on Adobe Radio, and welcome, Jess, to the studio for another beautiful day.
Another beautiful day, another beautiful episode of Babes Behind the Beats. I'm so happy that we get to do this together.
I know.
It's so much fun.
It's like a terrible job, isn't it?
So
Terrible.
awful. How horrible that we have to spend all this time together and have fun talking to all these badass females and just like, it's just so awful.
I know. And I was thinking about that. We get to do some really fun topics, just speaking with really interesting females in the music industry. Yeah.
I'm really fucking happy about it.
Really happy, and it's cooled down in LA, everyone. Not that anyone cares, but we're happy because finally winter is here. Woohoo!
Winter is coming, but it's here.
It probably is. And we're ready for the snow.
And we are ready for the snow. I cannot wait to go to the snow.
Shout out to my Mammoth friends.
Mammoth, Big Bear, Tahoe. Oh my God. We got to do a Tahoe trip since we didn't get to for my birthday weekend. So we got to do that.
Yes. So shout out to Kate, Lisa, Evan, and Erin, and Donna. Woo!
Woo! Shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
All your Mammoth friends.
Yeah, my drinking buddies.
Yes.
But today we have another badass female on Badass, and you say badass.
Badass.
Female. Even when I said badass, then I was like, oh, hang on, what is it? Badass. If I said badass, you'd be like, nah.
I feel like you say it way cooler than I do.
Badass.
When you say the way I say it, I'm like, God, do I sound like that? Badass.
No, my replication of the American accent's poo.
It's poo.
So we have a badass female, my friend DJ Ella, and she's from Latvia, and I have DJ'd many clubs with her in Hollywood and LA, so I can't wait to have her on the show.
DJ Ella, I'm so excited. We got another DJ.
Yeah, because you're a DJ, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, right. The most I've DJ'd is at literally like emo nights where I put on a playlist and I pretend that I'm pressing play, but it really kind of just plays itself.
See, because I literally, when I first met you, I didn't know you were a drummer for a while. And then when I found out you're a drummer, I think I looked at your Instagram and there was something about DJ, and I was like, oh, she DJs as well.
Right, right, because it was emo night events where it's like, so Jess from the Somerset comes in to quote unquote DJ, which is me putting on a playlist of the Backstreet Boys,
And we're not talking remixes, like full-blown pop track.
It's full-blown pop tracks that I put into these quote unquote emo nights, because Backstreet Boys is not emo, but you got to open up with something that you love yourself. And I was like, what better than to open with Backstreet Boys?
But the other thing I want to chat to her about is the disaster that is coming in and using gear. At every club, it's different. Or you might have the same gear, but people have rewired it in between. It just doesn't work. We've had that heaps of times. It's really stressful. I think that's the hardest thing about DJing. Once you're going, no problem, unless the sound drops out for some reason. But
it's always that initial, get on stage, and once you're finally like, okay, we hit that first note and everything's working, then it's okay.
Yeah.
We've also had the same type of thing where it's like, you get on stage and all of a sudden, the vocal mics aren't on, or like the kick drum mic wasn't on, or, just something happens. But once you get through that first 15 seconds of everything's working, cool.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, and good night. I'm going home because it works.
Yes.
I did one song, bye.
I did one song, goodbye.
So I can't wait to chat to her. She's from Latvia, and she was a Eurovision contestant, or at least she was in the Latvia finals, and I can't wait to chat about her move as a Latvian to Los Angeles. It's quite an interesting story.
Yeah, I'm very excited to find out more about her, so let's get her out here. Woo!
All right, we finally have our very special DJ friend, DJ Ella, in the room, all the way from Latvia. Well, not true, actually, probably from Hollywood, but she is Latvian, and we're so excited to have our friend on the show, DJ Ella. Woo!
Hello.
Hey, how are you guys?
So good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting. I feel the vibes. The vibes are good in here.
Yeah,
love it. To be here.
And so just by way of background, DJ Ella and I have DJ'd many clubs in Hollywood together. And we met doing an audition for something, didn't we? Remember that place? Like, what the hell was that?
It was on Hollywood Boulevard. I think it was Hollywood and Selma, like right next to Sound Nightclub. And it was a very interesting casting. Thank God I never had that kind of casting again in my life. But I met you, and that's what's, like.
That's how we literally became friends. Because
Yeah.
we
You
were
guys-
both like, what the hell is this?
Really?
Yeah, and
what
then-
was it for? Like, why was it so weird?
Because it was like there was a casting for DJs, and we went to the first casting, and then there was the second casting and the third casting. It was just weird. We are like, why are we even doing this? Like, who books a DJ? Like, why there's like a casting call like that for a club?
Right.
It was weird. Yeah.
That's interesting.
The club never opened, I don't
The
think.
club, I think they opened maybe for like 1 or 2 parties, but that was it. And I heard, actually, the guy is an acquaintance of mine, friend's friend. And I heard that art manager, like the manager of the club, remember there was this guy with the gray hair? He was very artistic, I must say,
Right. Yeah, he had some great
It was very
ideas.
interesting. Yeah, so I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but I guess he was too artistic, so something went wrong.
Yeah, I know the audition went on and on, that running so late, and I could literally play one song, which is not DJing. I was like, woo, thank you very much. I've literally got to go. So we've been here for hours.
Oh my God, that's crazy. So,
Yeah.
it was like so was it for like a residency at this place?
It-
or
I
was
think
it?
it was, yeah.
It was. They said that it's going to be a residency, but it never happened.
But it didn't happen. But then you guys met, which is there
Yeah,
you go. This
we
is the
did.
good that comes out of things.
That's LA, isn't it? Like just
Yeah.
meeting cool people, and we had a bit of a chat, and then we did some gigs together. I can't really remember how all that happened, but we did gigs together through Jeremy.
Yeah. That's what happened because he was there as well. Remember, he was
so
there
there's
as well.
this French guy. He's French, right?
Yeah.
French guy, and he promotes a lot of nights in Hollywood, or at least he did until quarantine. They're very popular nights, and they have live musicians. They have drummers.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really cool. And trumpet players come out, and the bottles with the flames coming out.
Oh, wow.
Total the Hollywood thing, or Vegas or whatever.
Yeah, they had those parties at the Liaison.
Yeah.
And they were called Sunday brunch or something like
I
that. Yeah.
literally can't remember.
But
I'm having a blank.
We both played there. I played for those guys for years because before that they were running Bagatelle. So and there's a story actually about Jeremy. Like I met Jeremy literally on a plane to Miami.
No, you're joking.
And he just moved to America, and I just moved to America, which was approximately like 10 years ago. And we both like fresh out of the boat, like with big dreams. And,
and you're like, we
And
should do something together.
yeah, and that was the thing, and we were like, like we're gonna be big in Hollywood, when you just arrive here, like you're just feeling it. It's like it's pumping,
Yeah. And what did he say? Hey, I'm going to run a night? Because he
And
really
then-
got into it.
Yeah, we stayed in touch, and then one day he wrote me on a Facebook, and he said, "This time has come, like I actually have an actual night." So I worked for him for many years. Like I worked at Bagatelle, and then he moved to Liaison, then he did some other stuff, W Hotel. Like I did a lot of gigs for them.
Yeah.
Him and Sarah,
Wow.
his wifey.
And was that your first sort of break into gigs in Hollywood? Because it is hard to get your first gig here when you move here. You literally don't know anyone, really.
You know what was interesting? Actually, in the beginning, when I just moved here, I got the gigs right away. The whole story, like, it goes back that back in Latvia, I used to be a Playboy cover model. And then Hugh Hefner, he invited me to a Halloween party.
No.
Like, yeah, I needed to write like a little article about, like what did I do there? How did I feel? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I went there and I actually stayed after that. I met some interesting people at the Dimension, and they were like, you should stay, you should try. There's so much, work to do. And I got booked right away, like a few weeks after that. Like I went to San Francisco. I played at Ruby Sky there. I played at the Supper Club in San Francisco. And then by that time, we had a Supper Club here in LA. So yeah, they also got me a gig here. So it was fun. It was fun.
Oh, so I didn't realize that's why you moved to LA. Or you've made that decision after getting those sort of that break from Hugh Hefner. I mean, that's a good break.
Yeah. I mean, like I came here and I wanted to go back, but it never really happened. So yeah.
Before you moved to LA and you were a Playboy model, but before that you were a singer as well. Like, didn't you do Eurovision or you did the Latvia finals?
I think I have done it all back in Latvia. So I got like literally because like you guys have the American Idol here.
Right.
Like The Voice. We had a TV show like which was going on September, October, November, December. So 4 months we were living like inside of one building, and every week there was a concert. And one by one people are going out. So it's a singing, like kind of like a TV show, reality show. Yeah, that's what I did. And I was 17 years old when I got famous in my country. And it's a very small, beautiful, amazingly beautiful country, but it's only 2 million people. So if you do a show like that, and it's literally like 4 months on a television, so you go out of the television, that's it. My real name is Elena. Once I got out of the show, they called me Ella because that was my name there. And that's it. I stayed Ella from from now on. And
Wow.
Yeah, so that's already many, many years ago.
Yeah, so as soon as you came out of that show, basically like a big brother then.
Yeah, kind of like a big brother, but it was like music, it was singing. So
Yeah.
every week we had a concert, and then people were voting for us. And yeah.
How did you do in the show? Like, how far did you get as far as...
I think I got the second place. No, third. I think third.
Wow.
I think I came third.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, but then after that, I became like a professional musician. So
Right,
that
you-
was just, that was kind of like a start, and then I have released several albums back there. I was nominated for MTV Best Baltic Act in between 3 countries, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. And I got my country's Grammy Awards twice.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Once for album, once for a song. And
Wow.
yeah, it's been a lot of things, Those years were really, really active. I would say like 17 to like 24. And then I worked for a television. I was a DJ at a radio station. And so it's an entertainment business. You guys know
Right.
how it happens, once you start to do something. And then also, like play by model. I'd never been a model. I was just model because, I was DJ Ella. And then, because of that,
it all leads into
they
one thing
started
spirals
interview
into
and
another.
Yeah. So it was like several very busy years.
Can you tell us a little bit about the music? What was like the style of music that you were doing over there?
Very interesting because I started even before the reality show. I started and I had a band. So actually my education is I'm a pianist. I play piano. So I write my music, I sing, and all these things. Yeah, I actually had a band when I was like a baby girl. So we're playing live. I was singing live. And the first album was kind of like a pop rock, I would say. It was back in the days when we were actually recording like live instruments.
Yeah, I remember
when I
those
needed
days too. Yeah, when it was like you all get in the studio and you actually play the instruments.
Yeah, exactly. So the first album was made like that, like we're actually at the studio, like, playing every like line, separately. I had a guy who played a guitar, like a pianist, like, like a drummer. So everything was actually like real music.
But it was you, as in like it was under your name, right?
Yeah, I started as Alina Fermain, and then I became Ella after the reality show. But talking about Eurovision, I actually took part in Eurovision even before the first reality show. So yeah, so I took a part like several times, yeah.
Because Eurovision, I think Americans know about Eurovision, but it's huge in Europe.
So I do have to say, the only reason I actually did know, I'm in the music industry, but I didn't know much about Eurovision until...
Before the Netflix show?
Before the Netflix...
Not the show, but the movie.
That
I
movie,
haven't
that
seen it.
silly movie that has Will Ferrell and Rachel
And
McAdams.
that's exactly how it is.
Is that how it is? So, what's funny is I was watching it and I was just like, oh my goodness.
That's exactly how it is. It's a very like I would say weird and interesting and fun. Like, yeah, it's a lot of show. People like dress up very like interesting. It's like as extra.
Right, that's the vibe I got from the movie. It was like be as crazy and
Yeah.
extra.
That's exactly how
Wow.
it is.
In England, everyone would stop to watch Eurovision. Sweden, same thing. Like it was it's a big
huge deal.
Yeah.
And actually, because of Eurovision, like the groups like ABBA, they became famous. That was their first time when they became that famous.
Was from Eurovision?
Which
Yeah, I
song
think it was.
which song were they singing? I think it was Waterloo.
Was it Waterloo? It could have been
Possibly.
Waterloo. That would make sense.
I could be wrong.
Let
though.
me quickly check. ABBA.
ABBA
because that's how they became like that.
was from Eurovision. Was
Yeah.
how they.
Yeah.
That is crazy to me. Yeah,
1974 with the song Waterloo.
it was Waterloo.
After finishing in third place in 1973 with Ring Ring.
Yeah. Like a lot of actually bands,
Wow.
artists we know these days, like, and who are really huge, they started with Eurovision.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
like you were there as the Latvian contestant.
No, I never won that contest in my, like the national one. I never won it.
got
But I participate, I don't know, many times. Like,
It's
I
really
won,
competitive. To get to be your country's, that's like being number
It's
one in
huge.
your country, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
took a part like 4 times at least. I always took like good places, but never won. But I always like was very close, I would say.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's so cool.
I know, it's another world.
That was my dream when I was a little girl. It's funny that you said that you saw the movie. Remember how they were kids and they were watching the Eurovision going on and they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, one day we're going to win it. One day it's going to happen. That was me when I was a kid. Like, I was like, oh.
So that really was something. Yeah, you were like aiming. You were like, that's my goal is to get to be
like that.
Wow.
So cool. When was the last time you competed? Or like how old approx?
I think I was like maybe 21, something like that.
Yeah, right. Or you already thought music was your full-time thing at that point?
It was, yeah. Music was my full-time thing for many years.
Yeah, and you study piano, so like
Yeah.
you're a serious musician.
Yeah.
Or was Eurovision before you did like your band?
The Eurovision, actually, I did when I was like 14 or 15. I was like super young. I had the band. Yeah, that was the band times. And then
okay.
after that was the reality show. And then I participated several times again. So yeah, I think there was 3-4 times I did it.
Yeah, so Ella's singing in that stuff, but you are now a tech house DJ. And so at some point you've sort of transitioned into that. Were you DJing in Latvia or Europe? At least?
Yeah, I did all of that as well. And it was interesting because the first album I released when I was like, I think maybe 18, 19, not sure exactly. But the sponsor of the album was one of our like biggest clubs in Riga, in our capital. And the deal was that the album will be sponsored if I will learn how to DJ and play some nights there.
Oh, you're joking.
So some of their like, resident DJs actually showed me how to do that. And in the beginning, I didn't really like it, I'll be honest with you, because I was kind of like forced into that. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was back in the days when we actually used the CDs, So I remember I had like this big book with CDs,
And what kind of music? Pop or?
House
Oh,
music.
house.
Yeah,
okay.
it was a huge club. They had like big DJs from UK like playing there from all over the world. We had Testo there, Armin van Buren. The guy who teach me how to play, he was more like a house DJ, I would say. So I was playing house, soulful house, positive vibes,
Yeah.
Like
and
little blonde girl.
Yeah. It's so scary your first gig, really, because you're in a club on decks. Like, did you get your own decks for home at that point?
No, I did not, but I was able to go and practice whenever I wanted because the club.
Those, that's amazing. That's a big help. I think a lot of people, maybe if they're learning how to DJ, don't have that opportunity because at least we've got standalone mixers now. Like, I think you've got the same one. I've got the RX something or other.
I have the Tractor software, but I play right now. I can play with the Tractor software with Xone, or I can play with Stick or whatever.
You got to be able to do it all, really.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, some people use laptops, some people use USBs. Sometimes it's easier just to be a USB DJ for a little bit, at least, until you're getting your headline spots, because you're coming in between acts.
Yeah, I do the stick
you
right
do
now.
Both,
I do both now. I also had several times when it was just really, really hard to set up.
It's too stressful.
And you just come in and you have to take that computer and, all these wires and everything.
If you come in with USB, people go, oh, she knows what she's doing. I don't know, maybe being a girl as well. Do you think? What do you think about being a girl as a DJ?
It's very hard, I'll be honest with you, because I have felt it since the first day since I've moved here. Yeah, like it's a guy's world,
It really is.
Like, especially the DJing, it is.
So being one of the few females in it, do you feel like it's then competitive with the other females because it is a guy's world? Or do you feel you would rather have a camaraderie with the females because you're like...
It's very different, like most of the times all these people, we kind of try to stick together because what I'm playing right now, I'm playing more like, house music. So it has nothing to do with the previous life in Latvia. It has nothing to do with pop music. So these people kind of stick together. We kind of like go to the same events, because I would say it's like an underground type of world, I know that there's some girls who are very like, they're like, oh, she's this, she's that. I have had it as well. But it's like I try to look at it like easy peasy, and I try to be more like kind of like friends.
Inclusive,
but it's even it's also in between of men and women as well. Like it's not only the girls in between girls, but I guess I would like to have my girls together. That's why I know Bowie. That's my girl.
No, Ella's been so amazing from the very first second I met you. You've been one of those people who you encourage, like you'll come and support, and I'll come support you. We try and support each other. You're very much let's all stick together. Which I love. I love that because it's cool. It's like a little, you're right, it's an underground scene.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, that's how it should be. I was just curious because of maybe it being few females, if it gets a little bit more competitive because the few females are like, oh, like we know that we're a few and far between, so we're fighting for these gigs because we're but
it's weird. I think there are so few females that it's almost the opposite. Maybe because there are so few. If there were maybe a few more, it might be more competitive, like singing. But
right.
It depends on the person. Like you're super friendly, but
I'm friendly, but I have had a situation where that was funny because we went to a club and there was a night going on there already, and it was like these underground house people. And I went together with my boyfriend, and my boyfriend literally heard how this one other DJ girl was talking about me, and so the girl was talking and she was telling the story, and my boyfriend was like, "Are you talking about Ella?" And then she was like, "What?" Like so it was just like very awkward situation. But I personally didn't hear anything, but then he was like, hey, do you know this girl? And I was like, yeah, I know. Like, we kind of, we don't really play similar styles, but it's kind of like the same group of people, But I think that's the only case here in America I have had like that. But other than that, it's pretty positive. But it happens, and there's like different kinds of reasons, different kind of people,
Yeah.
So one is friendly, one is like this, one is more competitive, one's, like you. It is what it is,
In the UK, when I was doing more of the singing, it was very competitive on that like club circuit thing. And I wasn't competitive because I'm thinking like we're all going to be on the same gigs together. But some of these people would literally not speak to you. Like it was ridiculous.
It's kind of weird, I feel like, it's just weird because at the end of the day, it's one community, and if it's one event, if it's the same club, but it's show business, and you guys know you're from entertainment world, it's a competitive world.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the same competitiveness, I guess, either way.
Oh, yeah.
I guess just finding out about the females because it is like, I don't know.
So tell me, Ella, what have you been doing in quarantine? Obviously, a lot of DJs have been doing streams. I haven't done any streams myself because I don't know.
I did few at my home, but not much either. I actually did some gigs. Like my friend did these parties in Malibu. It's kind of like a private thing, you know. So it was like maybe 20 people or something like that. But it's like at the mansion at the beautiful house by the Malibu. So his name is Mark London. So I work with him like through these times. And then I did one gig called Viking Extreme, which is like a little beautiful silver RV. So this person, he's a burner. He goes to Burning Man every year. He's a DJ as well. Like his name is Roloni, and I really, really enjoy the gig because they're changing the locations with the Airstream like pretty much every week.
Cool.
And it's outside, so people are actually like away from each other. It's not really
That's
like
good.
a club thing. Yeah, I played that gig, and that was really, really fun because it was actually quite a lot of people at the end.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, it's outside, so don't worry, everything was fine.
Everything was COVID safe. And
Yeah. And they
sure.
changed the locations all the time, and that was really, really dope. And it's kind of like underground type of thing as well, so it's not
that's
as
cool.
popular,
Speaking of Burning Man, you went to Burning Man last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to Burning Man 2019.
She was just hanging with Carl Cox, that's all. I mean, I was like, what the hell? Like, I was like, dude, we're going next year, which was this year. And then I was like, okay, we're not going this year.
Everything
we'll go
shut
next
down.
year.
Yeah.
That was quite an experience.
Was that your first time?
That was my first time, and it's actually the same person I was just talking about. I said Mark London. So he's a DJ, a veteran. He's been here around, the scene like many, many years. Originally from UK. He's friends also with your friend Paul Oakenfold, all these dudes, because they're UK dudes. Yeah, so he brought me there. He was going with his friend, and for me, it happened last minute. I didn't have a ticket, nothing, but every year I'm saying, yeah, I'm going, and then I'm just like, excuses. So I was like, you know what? I really should try to go this year. And I was like, okay, I need to get on that mindset. I got on the mindset, and accidentally, I have clothing stores in Melrose. One of my customers walked in, and she knew a person who had a ticket, and it was literally last minute, like maybe a week before or something.
I think I remember you asking, does anyone have a ticket or something?
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, you were hanging with Carl Cox. So that's why I was so confused. Like, I was like, wait, what?
What just happened?
Oh my God, so you got a ticket off her and then...
Yeah, she knew somebody like in West Hollywood. I met with a person, and the ticket, thank God, was like all valid, because sometimes, it can be also like, I heard some tricky situations. Right. But yeah, I went there together with my friend Mark London, who is like childhood friends with Carl. And it was interesting because he didn't tell me how it's going to be. So I was preparing, I got the food, the water, I got all the outfits, because in the nighttime it's really cold there, and in the day it's hot. I don't know, 100 plus degrees. And yeah, I went there, and we just arrived with a car. I look around, and I'm like, I knew that we're going to go to Carl's camp, which is called Playground. I made Carl a jacket, by the way. Like, I gave him the jacket. I was like, thank you for inviting, and da-da-da-da. But I didn't know how it's exactly going to be. And we arrived, and I see, like, the owner of Sound nightclub is staying there. I see some other people from industry. I'm like, shoot, it must be like a good place where I actually ended up with these people.
You're like, I'm in the middle of the desert with all the club owners.
Yeah. And then we pretty much stayed right next to Carl Cox, right next to his RV, because we stayed with his managers and all these people. So, but it was all like, I must say, like, big thanks to Mark London, because without him, like, it would never happen. But he literally surprised me, like, because he didn't tell me where we're going to stay and how is it going to be. He just said, take your food, take your water, take your outfits, like whatever you need, like take your stick with you, take your music. He didn't say, by the way, like me and Carl were like childhood friends.
Yeah.
I didn't know the background.
So you're like, I'll go, I'll get dirty, that's fine.
I was totally prepared for the worst. Let's see how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I ended up like in the most beautiful place on the whole earth,
Yeah. Have you haven't been to Burning Man?
I've never been to Burning Man. That's why I was like, I wanted to know about this experience, because I've heard great things.
And was it as dirty as it dirty? Are there showers? I always wondered about this. Or is this because of RVs. Have a shower in an RV.
There actually, in that particular camp, there was showers.
Oh,
you could
wow.
go and, take
So
a
you
shower.
can get clean and
Yeah, but that was the particular camp. It really depends.
It depends where you are.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's fascinating.
But it's super dusty, like there's sandstorms and it's cold in the nighttime. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely an experience, and not everybody probably would be ready for that.
Yeah, totally. Is it a weekend? I forget.
It's a week.
It's a whole week.
Whole week.
Did you go for a whole week?
We went, I think Wednesday to Sunday.
Holy
That's
moly.
a long time to be.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And where is it again? It's in I know it's in the desert, but Burning Man's.
Yeah, where in the desert?
Black Rock City. It's called Black Rock City. There is a website, but it's interesting because they have like 2 sales, I think, or maybe even 3, and it's a certain amount of tickets.
Yeah,
so
it's just-
it doesn't mean you cannot just go there and buy a ticket and hey, I'm going.
Right.
You have to go through the whole process. I went there and I literally met all of the people. The phone, by the way, is not working. There's no reception for a week. You cannot nobody cannot reach you. You're just out and about on your own or with your group of friends or whatever.
I like that.
And a lot of people bike around, so.
So you
'cause
just have
it's
to
huge.
arrange to meet at a certain spot.
Because people they come to the playa and they build a city. There's nothing in there, so
Yeah.
people literally build it from scratch.
Right,
so they
right.
build a city. Like back in the days, there's no money. You cannot go like Coachella and buy a drink or food or like little snack or something.
You're
know?
just going to people's camps, aren't you?
yeah, you can go from camp to camp and see how you can manage that. But
If you
that's-
can, if you schmooze your way in, I don't know. Oh, that's fun. So, what are your plans coming up for the next year? You've got 2 retail stores on Melrose.
yeah, I do. One is called Blonde and another one's called Rock Etiquette.
This is all like cool, really cool clothes, like rock kind of clothes. And
Rock Etiquette is like rock boho, something like I would say looks like Free People and / All Saints, like
nice.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then Blonde is more like urban streetwear, very colorful. Rock Etiquette's more like black, grays, it's like rock.
Yeah.
But then the Blonde is fun, so that's the fun
nice.
one.
And you've been tying in your fashion with your music a bit, like you love fashion, right? So that's
I
why.
love fashion because at the end of the day, it's very similar. I also create fashion. I do jackets and some custom stuff. I think it's very similar because when I start to do these jackets, when I make the designs, I get lost. And it's the same kind of feeling when you DJ or when you sing, when you play piano. It's the same thing. It's the creative moment when you get lost and when you actually get out of your body kind of,
Yeah.
And you just, follow the process. Yeah, and I've been busy. We've been open since on and off, even this week I was closed for 3 days because, we were thinking that something's going to happen because of the election.
Right.
But thank God, nothing happened. But I mean, we don't know the results yet, so who knows what's going to happen
tomorrow. Are you
tomorrow.
still preparing for that? Are you boarded up or anything like that? Or
I have metal gates, so I have these things, in front of the store. So I'm not doing the plywood thing, but everybody else around me did it, and
Yeah, so you in the last riots, your store, I was watching it on TV and I'm like, shit, Ella's store is right in the middle of that.
literally next to it. There was one building, and then the building after that got burned. Thank God nothing happened, Yeah, for both of them, nothing happened. So I'm very, very, very blessed,
amazing.
But people have been through so much pain there, they put their all of life investments, into those stores just to have a business. And the morning after, it was very painful just to see all of that because it literally looked so scary.
Yeah.
Stores were looted, burned down,
Shocking.
It was shocking. I would never imagine moving to America that something like that would happen.
Yeah.
That on my own skin.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, so this is the real America, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the stories you were posting the next morning. I saw that stuff and I was like, holy moly, that looks crazy. The street looked a mess.
Yeah, and it still looks kind of like a mess because a lot of these people, they never, came back. A lot of these people didn't have insurances. So, that's it for them. And but it is what it is, We're going through changes and this year has been painful and very also good in another way, So let's see what we all going to get out of it,
Yeah.
Was this something that you were always passionate about then? You were talking about, were you making, like you said, your own jackets and stuff? Was this, all through your life you've always been passionate about, fashion and clothing? And
since I was in entertainment business back in Latvia, I was several times, Latvian most, stylish singer, these fashion awards and stuff like that. So I was always very close with fashion. It actually just happened, being honest with you, because I would never think that would be something I would be able to do. But I'm very, very happy that I'm actually doing it these days, especially now, when it's kind of, rough and hard for the musicians. musicians. And I would say right now I'm more like, a businesswoman, entrepreneur than I am a, musician, DJ. And it's just taking so much time. Like this year, I've been so focused, on the stores and yeah. So
Ella does these amazing jackets. Describe the jackets that you make, which you've got one on that's, that's
so
cool.
I use like vintage materials. I pretty much use like old t-shirts, like purses, like different kinds of stuff. I recycle fashion materials to make new ones. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
so
cool.
cool.
I know. When you walked in, actually, I saw your jacket and I was like, I love that jacket. I knew that you had made it, but I'm glad that we talked about it now. After we get off this, I'm going to be like,
I need a jacket.
I'm going to go to that store. I need that jacket.
Now, we finish our interview with a little quiz, and it's super easy. It's silly.
Very silly.
It's pretty much yes or no. So
yes.
All right, we'll let Jess go with the first question.
Okay, first question for you. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Yes.
Yeah. I know. I know. You loved Pepe when you walked in, so I knew right off the bat.
We had a dog lover on our hands.
Yeah.
Second question, whiskey or vodka?
Oh, vodka for sure.
Oh,
yes.
You are
I'm from
Latvia.
Latvia, right next to Russia, so there's not
Exactly.
even a question. Vodka and cranberry, please.
Yes. Love it. Beach or snow?
Beach, definitely.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That makes
No,
sense.
we've got this running thing where when people give us that answer, we're like, oh, because we like the snow. So we're like, oh, okay.
Beach.
Oh, no, that's cool. That's fine. You're allowed to answer it however you want.
No judgments.
No judgments here. Yeah. Get out.
All of a sudden, there was just a silence. We were like,
We're like, oh. All right, headline or opener?
It's interesting, very interesting.
Actually, as a DJ and as a singer is probably different.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
But I guess headline, because you got to go for that big piece of meat.
Yeah.
So regardless, whether you're singing or whether you're DJing, you say headlining.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
joking around here.
Yeah.
No, I think that's right.
That's good. Yeah. All right. What is on your rider?
Here, actually, I never had one because I was just DJing. But back in Latvia, I always had a little bit of vodka, a little bit of cranberry. There was some, some snacks and something like that. And then obviously the technical rider, which is what you need for singing, for performing.
Right.
But there was not much. I was never the diva.
Right. So it was mostly just give me a couple drinks.
Yeah,
and then as long as
simple
you get that.
stuff. And Latvia also, even if you're very famous there, and kind of everybody knows you, it's a small country. So there's no such a thing as, being super diva because those places you go in, the towns are small, the cities are small. So it's
Right.
nobody really is Mariah Carey type of, like diva, there.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Not like Jess.
Not like me.
Not like Jess.
Not like me, guys. I need my rider. I need a perfectly cooked steak and
Medium rare.
Yes, medium rare, please.
Every guest has been giving her an idea of what more to add to a rider. So we're like, oh, okay, Jess is adding that.
I mean, some
Oysters.
guests are adding oysters would be amazing.
Oh,
Oh
okay,
my
now
God.
she hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, but someone had said a masseuse. They're like, I would love to have a masseuse every night. And I was like, oh my God. Can you imagine if every night you showed up to a new venue and you just had someone there to just give you a deep tissue massage?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I can imagine that.
That'd be great.
I would do that. Would be
Adding
awesome.
that to the rider. Add it to your rider. So for everyone to keep up with you, do you want to give us your social media handles, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, a website, anything that you feel like you're the most active on so people can see what you're up to?
Probably that will be the Instagram, which is @SheDJElla. And then from there, you can probably get to everywhere else.
you need
And
to
then the
go.
stores are @blonde.melrose and @rocketiquette.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much for being here. This was so great chatting with
Thanks
you.
for coming all the way from Latvia.
Oh,
We really
you're welcome,
appreciate
guys.
it.
It just took me a day.
I was going to say, I'm glad you flew in for this all the way from Latvia. No.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Flew in from Hollywood.
And
so
she's
thank
got to
you.
fly back tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much. We loved having you on.